Hello and welcome everyone to my new review series, Dustin Woodfox's Return to Shining Time Station. This is going to be a big and long challenge for me, but I'm up for it all the same. So let's get started.
Reach for the speed, reach for the whistle, go where the rail may run. Reach for the word, reach for the story, follow the rainbow sun. To a shining time station, where dreams can come true, waiting there for you.
And to start off this new series, I think it's only fitting that we begin with the very first episode of the show. I'll just say this right now. As a kid, I never really saw Season 1 all that much through reruns. They seemed pretty rare compared to Seasons 2 and 3, which would inevitably end up airing on Fox Family and Nick Jr. after the show's contract with PBS expired in 1998. This might be due to the fact that this season is quite different from the other two, and goes under First Installment Weirdness. The same kind of weirdness that gave us real-life animals in the Pokemon anime, The Simpsons during their Tracy Ullman years before getting their own show, and that weird moment where Inspector Gadget had a mustache. Also, since I grew up with George Carlin first as I was born in 1994, I wasn't too crazy about Ringo Starr's narration as a kid.
Wake up, lazy bones, do some hard work for a change. You can't catch me. And off he ran, laughing.
Wake up, lazy bones, do some hard work for a change. You can't catch me. And off he ran, laughing.
But nowadays, I've come to like him as he was one of the people who kick-started my childhood. Anyways, let's go into the intro of the show. The original version of the intro is quite unique compared to what was made later on, using various clips of the show with the characters in the opening credits, as well as a brief clip of Thomas from Saved from Scrap, which became somewhat iconic over the years as a lot of promotional material used a still of Thomas from that episode. It would be changed into the more contemporary style most people are familiar with clips of the Union Pacific 844 over the main actor's credits, but the original is still very unique. The theme was also composed by longtime Sesame Street composer Joe Raposo as one of his final works before he passed away, literally one whole week after this episode aired, and it is definitely a masterpiece, one of his finest. From here, we're introduced to a small man looking around the station as the episode title is shown. Then, when he hears voices outside, he magically disappears with the sound of a harp.
Okay, now I've saved the best for last. I'm going to show you the inside of the station. Ta-da! This is it. Shining Time Station. What do you think? It's nice. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
This is where we're introduced to the first two of the main characters. We have Stacy Jones, played by Dee Dee Khan. She's been a name best known since the 70s, known as the voice of Raggedy Ann in the Richard Williams animated feature Raggedy Ann and Andy: A Musical Adventure.
Yep, the coast is clear, ain't it?
Oh, what a day I've had. I think I must have popped half my stitches.
Don't you worry, Raggedy Ann. I'll fix them up for you in a minute.
And was more well known as the character Frenchie in the 1978 musical Grease, as well as its sequel.
You were so nice to me this summer.
Listen, Sandy, men are rats. Listen to me. They're fleas on rats. Worse than that, they're amoebas on fleas on rats. I mean, they're too low for even the dogs to bite. The only man a girl can depend on is her daddy.
With her is her nephew Matt, played by a young Jason Walliner, who was just 8 years old when he landed this role. He would later go on to be a writer and a director for several movies and TV shows, even getting a Golden Globe for his directing work on the 2020 film, Borat's subsequent movie film. Interesting how time flies, huh? Anyways, Stacy, who is the station master, introduces Matt to Shining Time Station and shows him how the station works with some silly little acting.
Excuse me, sir. Does the express train to Fort Farley stop at Cloggyville?
I don't know, Aunt Stacy.
Now you say yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. Then I'm going to have to buy a ticket.
See, that's how it's done. In order to ride the train, you have to have a ticket, and this is where we sell them.
Oh, excuse me, sir. May I please buy a one-way ticket to Cloggyville?
Yes, you can.
Okay, now you take a ticket from there. And you find a puncher. That's it. You punch at Cloggyville. Perfect. And then you stamp it.
And, then I'd give you my money. Thank you, young man. It is a pleasure doing business with such an efficient railroad. What did you say the name of this railroad was?
Shining Time Station on the Indian Valley Railroad.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to remember only to travel on the Indian Valley Railroad.
It's pretty cute and funny. A kind of fun aunt and nephew moment.
That's neat. I know a different trick.
What happened to your thumb?
It's right here.
Oh, good, because you're going to need your thumbs when we go to the arcade.
So then, Stacy takes Matt to the arcade. This is another moment of first installment weirdness, as it feels like we're missing something important here. But don't worry, we'll get to that in the next episode. Anyways, she shows how things in the arcade work, showing some of the many machines we would regularly see as the show progresses, such as the picture machine. Nothing too big of note here, just a simple musical bit taken from the 1939 George Powell puppet tune, Philip's Cavalcade. We'll talk more about this kind of thing when it gets more relevant later on.
Oh, what happened?
Unfortunately, the handle to the picture machine breaks off, and Stacy says she'll fix it later. We learn that trains rarely stop at the station, and Stacy wants to restore the station to its former glory when her grandmother Gracie ran it a long time ago.
Steam engines, diesel engines.
Fire engine?
Oh, Matt, come here. This is my plan. I'm gonna make this old station as good as it ever was. There'll be passengers rushing around, going to faraway places. It's gonna be a very busy station, just like the days when my old granny used to run it. And then lots of trains will want to stop here. Will you help me?
Sure.
Great.
We also take a look at the mural, and it looks amazing.
Let's begin with the painting.
Oh, it's a beauty, isn't it? It's called a mural, and it shows the way people used to travel and how they travel now. And if you use your imagination, you can almost hear it come to life. Listen.
So then afterwards, Stacy and Matt get ready to start cleaning the station to get it ready. She hands Matt a nickel to put in the jukebox so they can have some music to work by.
Somebody dropped a nickel into this here jukebox. We have to play the song.
Well, I'm all set, Red.
What should we play, Tex?
What are those noises in there? Where's my song?
We're then introduced to the Jukebox Band, a set of 5 little people who play music inside the jukebox in the arcade. These segments were made by a little-known puppet crew called FlexiTune, which features a mix of marionettes and hand puppets depending on the characters. Husband and wife creators Craig and Olga Marin play as 2 of the characters, Rex and Dee Dee respectively. There was also Wayne White, who voiced Tex in this season. He was known for playing a few characters in Pee-wee's Playhouse, as well as the Weird Al Show.
The first time I saw you, I knew that I must give me some clay and sculpt your bust.
Busty!
There was also Grace the bass player, voiced by R&B, jazz, and soul blues singer Venice Thomas.
Let's just play something we know.
But the most prominent one in this show is one that definitely is out of left field. Piano Man Tito Swing, voiced by none other than Jonathan Freeman, who would become best known as Jafar from the Disney movie Aladdin. Quite a twist, huh?
All right, already. All right, be cool. Be cool. The turkey will be here in just a little bit. Relax! Oh.
Pretty funny. Your Majesty certainly has a way with dumb animals.
Still, it's a fun performance, and all the characters have a lot of fun here as we see the band perform their own take of I've Been Working on the Railroad, which is fitting for the first episode of a show about a train station. The band would perform either train-related songs or well-known songs from the public domain depending on the situation. Think Barney, but better.
I did!
Who's that?
She's a horn player.
Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know.
Ow, ow, ow!
Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Strumming on the old banjo, singing a fee-fi, fiddly-I-O, fee-fi, fiddly-I-O, fee-fi, fiddly-I-O, strumming on the old banjo. I've been working on the railroad. I've been working, yeah. I've been working on the railroad. Ooh,
I like it like
Rise
this,
up so
girlfriend.
early in the morning.
After the song, while Matt is cleaning a part of the mural, he hears a familiar voice.
Here, you missed a spot. It's the window over here. You did the others, so don't miss this one. That's a good lad. Can't do a job halfway. What's worth doing is worth doing well, I say. And that goes double when you're doing my windows, because they're double paned. A pain in the neck and a pain to clean.
And this is our proper introduction to our next main character in the show, and partially the main reason why this was made, Mr. Conductor, played by former Beatle Ringo Starr himself. Considering that he was already the narrator for the Thomas TV series at the time, it would make sense that they'd bring him to play as another character to tell the stories for American audiences. These stories have re-narrated bits in certain spots, such as trucks now being referred to as freight cars, or guards being called conductors, and so on, as well as a name change to a certain character, but we'll talk about that in the next episode. I could talk about the Thomas stories here, but I'm going to save them for the end and focus on the main story itself. Anyways, after Mr. Conductor tells the first Thomas story, Matt tells his aunt about the little man in the wall, and it seems she knew him once upon a time when she was younger, and is excited to hear he's back.
It's Stacy. There's a little guy who lives in here in the wall. Oh, no, is he back? Oh, what did I tell you? There's just something about this place. Oh,
He is so shy, and he travels a lot. Listen, Matt, Remember I told you there's a railroad engineer that's coming? I wouldn't mention any of this to him. You know how grown-ups can be. He may not understand.
I know.
We're then introduced to some more characters who would become mains.
Hello. I'm Stacy Jones. This is my nephew, Matt.
How do you do? This is my granddaughter, Tanya. And my name is Henry Cupper, locomotive engineer and master mechanic. You can call me Harry.
Well, welcome, Tanya. Welcome, Harry, to Shining Time Station. What we hope will be the best train station on the Indian Valley Railroad. And we can sure use the help of an engineer of your experience.
Well, the railroad asked me to stop by and have a look, but I haven't told them yet I'd take the job.
First, there's Harry Cupper, played by the late Leonard Jackson. He's a man who comes off as grumpy as first, but he has a heart of gold, and he's an experienced railroader who loves to share his stories of his early days on the line. While not one of my favorite characters, he's still a good character all the same. Around the same time that he was working on Shining Time Station, Leonard also had a guest spot on Sesame Street, playing as the first version of the character Mr. Hanford.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Mr. Hanford.
Hi, Elmo.
Yay! Elmo did it! Elmo did it! Elmo is so proud! Yay! Yay! Elmo, yay!
Don't ask.
Who at the time was the owner of Hooper's store, taking over from David, who moved away.
See, David doesn't live here anymore. He went to the farm to live with his grandmother. See, but before he left, he sold the store to Mr. Hanford, so that makes Mr. Hanford my new boss.
His version of Mr. Hanford was very much like his portrayal of Harry. A bit of a grumpy fellow, but still good-hearted. When David Smearle took over the following year, he played as a smiling, singing version of him. I guess it comes down to preference, really.
Mr. Hanford, how many salt shakers you got? You got. 'Cause we bet you got a lot, a lot. There is a way that you can see. Come on, pros, count them with me, yeah.
Along with Harry is her granddaughter Tanya, played by Nicole Rochelle Leach. She would appear in many shows during the late 80s and early 90s, including The Babysitter's Club and The Cosby Show. Regarding the latter, there were legal issues mentioned that happened on April 9th, 2018 concerning the guy behind it, but I'm not going to talk about them for the sake of this video. Anyways, Stacy welcomes Harry and Tanya to the station and goes to show Harry around, while Matt stays with Tanya, hoping for her to meet Mr. Conductor. He doesn't show up, but don't worry, she'll meet him in the next episode. Later, Tanya fixes the picture machine, and we get our first music video from the machine.
Whenever people tell you to stop where you are, it doesn't mean you're not still free. Stop where you are and see where you are is the only place you can be. So start where you are. Right before your eyes there's air. Take a magic breath. There, now you're filled with super fuel to go where you'll see, hear, smell things, weird things, swell things.
Start Where You Are features two kids having fun at an amusement park, and for the first original song, it's got a very nice and sweet feel about starting properly into having some fun. It almost brings a tear into my eyes these days. Not bad for one of the original songs here, is it?
Go where you'll look into the corners where you never peek. All the corners of the world belong to you. Hiding's only half of playing hide and seek. Gotta go and look to find what's true. Start where you are. Take a magic breath, touch hands. Now you're touching magic lands, and the journey's never far. 'Cause things are stirring, fizzing, whirring, whizzing, beating, darting, meeting, parting, starting wherever you
Wow, start where you are? That's here.
Soon, Stacy brings Harry to a workshop, and he's happy he gets to have his own workshop, and it has a lot of great railroad things and pictures in it. Later, Matt meets with Mr. Conductor again, and he tells him another story, this time about Edward, but more on that later. After the story, a banjo player comes in for a ticket, and he's very good. Not bad for a random addition at the end.
Time for my happy toes to hit the rails.
Well, I guess this isn't the kind of place you're used to.
Nope, I'm used to things being a lot more serious.
Oh, does that mean you don't like it here?
No, it means it's time for a change.
So, Harry decides to stay at Shining Time Station, and Tanya will come to visit too, which makes her, Stacy, and Matt very happy.
What made you decide to stay at Shining Time Station?
It's hard to say exactly, but there's just something about this place.
And what a great way to end the first episode. Now, let's talk about the Thomas stories that were featured. Now, for the first 9 or so episodes, the Thomas stories actually go somewhat in order by how they were seen in the UK. Pretty appropriate, but this will change as we continue. So, first up is the first story, Thomas and Gordon, aka Thomas Gets Tricked. This was the first episode of the Thomas series, and it properly introduces the audience to life on the island of Sodor, with characters like Thomas and Gordon, hence the title. Thomas always teases Gordon, but Gordon gets fed up with his tricks. So one day, Gordon decides to take Thomas on a little joyride around the island to the next station, leaving him very tired. The second story is Edward and Gordon, aka Edward Helps Out. While the second episode of the show, it was based on the first 2 stories from the very first book. But still a good story where Edward has a nice day out, then has to help Gordon up a hill. Simple but very effective. Kinda like season 1 as a whole. Both stories were a pretty good start to Shining Time Station, and the popularity would boost from here on out. The full episode itself, it's a pretty good note to start on. While season 1 is still kinda slow in my opinion, I can't help but think this is a solid start to the show. It introduces us to most of the main characters we would come to know and love, from Stacy to Harry, to Matt and Tanya, to the Jukebox Band, and of course, Mr. Conductor and Thomas the Tank Engine and his friends. So, this is just for personal preference, but for being a solid start, I'll have to give this first episode a high ranking of 10 out of 10 for starting a lifelong legacy for Thomas and all involved in it. There's just something about this show. Hey guys, thanks for watching this first episode of Dustin Woodfox's return to Shining Time Station. If you liked what you see, give this video a like and subscribe for more episodes. Next time we continue this train ride as we finally introduce ourselves to someone who's missing in this episode. Until next time, Woodfox out.
Waiting there for you. So much to see, so far to travel, so much to learn to know. Friends by your side, hopes to hold on to, who knows how far you'll go. To a shining time station